And welcome back. And you heard this noise, you know what that means. It's now time for the Restaurant Reality segment of the We Sell Restaurant Show. I'm Eric Gagnon. I'm here with Robin Gagnon. And we're going to talk to you a little bit about reality of what happened today on today's topic, which was restaurant financing. As you all know, there's no such thing as free money out there. And we heard from the experts, and they told you several different options that were very interesting today, from raising money from your customers to a traditional banking loan to converting some of your retirement assets into cash. Robin, tell us a little bit about some of the reality things that we're going to talk about today.
Well, you know, one thing I heard loud and clear from all three partners today was that it takes hard work and commitment to any project to get any of these forms of lending off the ground. Would you agree, Eric?
Absolutely. And one thing that was loud and clear to me, that our listeners that are going to be in the business or are very seasoned operators, and we see that every day, is you must have good books of records. And understand that by the fact that good books of records doesn't mean minimizing your tax implication. It means be able to show the profit on the books so these financial institutions can see that you're making money, which is very different than a lot of operators out there are currently using.
You know, because the thing is, when we're marketing a business, we have a very small opportunity to market a business that's $500,000, because there are very few people that have $500,000 in cash just sitting in their bank account. The reality is, though, most people can get a hold of $75,000, $80,000, $100,000, and that's what they would need for a down payment. So to your point, Eric, if the books and records are correct and in good order, and there's 3 years of them, then moving that into an SBA lending realm is it's a slam dunk.
Correct. And also, for people, not only the people who want to sell, for those of you out there who want to expand, you don't get up one day and you find a great opportunity in the middle of your favorite town in America and say, I need $500,000 to go after it. It doesn't happen like that. You must prepare. Sylvia Shiverdecker from BB&T today mentioned she wants 3 years of books of record. So you must think at least 3 years in advance that you're going to be the need to borrow money or to get funds.
You know, one thing we didn't touch on at all in terms of financing a restaurant purchase is owner financing. And the reality is that most owners may want or need to carry a note in order to finance the sale of the restaurant. So give me some idea, or at least tell our listeners, Eric, what's a typical time frame and what kind of interest rates are they looking at if they're going to do some owner financing for someone looking to sell or someone looking to buy?
And that's an excellent point. And this is the reality. Most owners will have to do some financings to make a deal when you start looking at larger price points or even a lower price point. Sometimes good operators come in, but they don't have a lot of cash. But they'll be better than a guy with a lot of cash that will not be able to run your business. What we're looking at out there, you're not a bank, Mr. Restaurant owner that wants to finance. So we're typically looking at about 50% or more of the transaction that will be actually, paid down. So you're looking at 50% or less owner financing of the transaction. Interest rates varies from no interest in some cases to about probably 6 or 7%. That's what I've seen out there. Robin, have you seen something different a little bit? Other things you've seen out there?
Well, I would say that that's really on par. The interesting thing about owner financing is a lot of buyers and sellers will do something for a limited period of time, a shorter period, and then they'll do what's called a balloon payment. So you may have to operate the way they've been operating for a period of time, and then you're going to have a big amount that comes due. You know, we have restaurants on the market right now with all kinds of different forms of lending attached to them. For example, we have a franchise bakery concept. You know, Nation's Restaurant News Top 100 just released their latest report, and it shows that bakery segments are the fastest growing sales segment in the nation. So this particular franchise bakery concept has excellent books and records, and an SBA has already pre-approved lending on purchase of around $350,000 with about $100,000 down. Now the payment on that's spread over 10 years, so there's lots of benefit to the owner as well.
Yeah, and that's going to also be a big difference between owner financing and bank financing. Most owner financing, you're talking 12 months to maybe 60 months at the longest. So, the bank will spread it out over 10 years. They may amortize the loan, which means that they're going to actually calculate your payment on a 20-year repayment. So, big advantage with the bank, big advantage on all sides of this. So look at all your options. Speaking of options, we also have another opportunity here for sale, a restaurant for sale. Robin, You want to tell us more about the second one?
Well, there's a casual cafe diner style restaurant that's serving breakfast and lunch, and that's a great lifestyle for the restaurant industry because, again, we're talking about restaurant reality, and the reality is sometimes those late hours are not so much fun, particularly when you have young children and because the restaurant business is a lifestyle business.
And in this show, no pun intended, but we're talking about bankers' hours for restaurant owners.
Yeah. So in this case, we have a business where the owner earns more than $150,000 a year. He will take $250,000 for the restaurant, but he's willing to finance it, Eric, 50% down and 50% financing.
Wow, that's a very good deal. So somebody can buy almost $150,000 of cash flow, meaning income in their pocket, with about $125,000 down payment. That is very, very strong return on investment, folks out there.
The reality of buying a restaurant is there are lots of different options at many different price points, and there's many ways to finance a restaurant. And you can find them online on our website, hundreds of listings at WeSellRestaurants.com. And just go to the tab that says listings, and you can sort by any type of listings that you would like. We want to take a moment and thank today's sponsors. Today's Restaurant, the food service industry newspaper, is one of our sponsors. They are the trade newspaper for the food service industry in Georgia and Florida, and position themselves as a total marketing solution to sell a service or product. Another of today's sponsors is GeorgiaRestaurantLaw.com. You can schedule a free in-office consultation with a Georgia restaurant attorney and receive access to dozens of flat-fee legal services you need for your food and beverage business. Again, that is GeorgiaRestaurantLaw.com. Remember, find us online. Where's it at, Eric?
You can find us, of course, on Facebook at facebook.com/WeSellRestaurants. You can also follow us on Twitter at sellrestaurants.com. And, of course, we're on LinkedIn as well. You can also look at WeSellRestaurants.com. And you can also look at our YouTube channel, which is, Robin?
YouTube.com/of course, We Sell Restaurants, because our name does say it all. We Sell Restaurants. We'd like to ask you to join us every Saturday at noon, where we will satisfy your appetite for acquisition, feed the need for restaurant reality, and serve up a recipe for business success. I'm Robin Gagnon. I'm half of that team known as the Restaurant Brokers, and join us again next Saturday at noon.